What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode of the VJVE group build being hosted by HobbyLink International. We're back on our G.55 by Special Hobby, and today I'm hoping to go ahead and start closing up different parts like the fuselage and the wings. So last time we went ahead and worked a lot here in the cockpit. I think everything looks pretty decent. I'm happy with the finish, nice and flat. We have to do a little bit of work here and there, but otherwise I think we are really looking great to go ahead and close up the fuselage. And that's going to be challenging in and of itself because this is a somewhat limited run kit, so we might have a few fit issues here and there. I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and queue up a time lapse and move forward. We also need to go ahead and work on the wings, get the internals done there for the wheel wells, and add in a couple extra little pieces here and there. So let's go ahead and jump right in on this and see what we can do. So let's do it. With the fuselage and the wings all nicely glued together, we're letting that dry and I've moved over to the front nose. Now, there is something interesting about this nose. It's actually 4 different pieces. We have the top of the cowling, bottom of the cowling, which of course there are 2 different cowlings depending on what you want to go ahead and model. And then we have 2 other parts here, which I'm not sure what to call them. I guess they are the shrouds for the exhaust stacks, and this is all separate. So we have to go ahead and fit a lot of these parts together, do a little dry fitting here, sand a lot of our flash off. The exhaust shrouds are probably the worst off that I've seen so far in the kit. There's just a lot of flash and a lot of plastic that just didn't quite mold correctly. So we're going to do some surgery here. We're going to sand things down. Then once we have most of that kind of sanded down, we can go ahead and start test fitting these things and get them all nicely glued in. Otherwise though, everything seems to be going together fairly well. So we do have to go ahead and get the nose all squared away. And then we're going to turn our attention back over to the wings, where I want to go ahead and take some of the super glue and slowly kind of fill in all the panels for the wing cannons. Because remember, this is a series 0. So according to my information, there would be no wing cannons here. So let's go ahead and get back in that time lapse, guys. Finish off the nose, jump on some seam filling, and then we'll be back, see how we turn out. All right, everybody, we are back, and I have gone ahead and pushed off the wing there to dry. We have everything nicely filled up with our super glue. I think that's going to turn out beautifully. Next episode, we'll come back, we'll start sanding things down, and we'll get everything cleaned up. But I do want to go ahead and shift over to some of the other parts and pieces, like the radiator and the oil cooler. Now, one of the things that we do have here in the kit is we have some photo etch parts for the grills that fit up inside this oil cooler. Problem is, they're so tucked in, you're not going to see them. I don't really want to have to fool around with photo etch because you're not going to see anything when this thing is sitting on its landing gears. For the actual radiators, they are very well molded for plastic parts. Very clean, very crisp. I think that they look fine without the photo etch inserts. So I think what we're going to do is just going to clean those off and then just glue them down into the radiator itself. I don't really see a point in putting on that photo etch. And like I said, if you're not going to see them, I don't really want to waste my time on it. So we're just going to use our jeweler files. We're going to sand off the little sprues here and there, make sure that they are nice and smooth and they fit right down inside in that radiator. There's actually not a lot of locating pins in this kit either. None of the fuselage has any locating pins or tabs whatsoever. Same with this here. There's a little bit of a line to kind of help distinguish where they go, but other than that, there's no locating pins whatsoever. Now for the photo etches, you can see here, they do have a really nice looking photo etch fret that does include those grills. I'm not going to lie, they look really cool. Problem is though, like I said, you're not going to see them. So I think I'm going to save those for another project because you never know when you might need some photo etch grills. Trust me, it's always a good idea to keep some spares. They do come in handy. So turning our attention over to the wing and fuselage joint. This is one area that I was really concerned about because I wasn't sure how everything was going to go together. Now looking at this more carefully, I'm actually very surprised that it fits decently. But there is a little bit of a step right here. The fuselage sits a little bit higher than the wing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. We're going to take the fuselage and I'm going to start sanding down any of the areas that are going to be coming in contact with the wing. Then I think that should lower it just a little bit. There's not much of a step. There's just a tiny step. And that's good. That's what I want to do. I don't want to have to sand a bunch on the top side. There's some raised panels that are kind of neat there in the back. I don't want to destroy those. So I think what I'll do instead is I'll work on the underside where you're not going to see to get that plastic to fit down a little bit better, more securely. Let's go ahead and give it a test fit here and see if we've done anything at all. Go ahead and place it right down in there. That's way better. So I'm happy to report that will work. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it just step by step, incrementally. We're going to remove a little bit of plastic on the underside of this fuselage here, and that should bring it down to go ahead and mate up with that wing. But we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know we're taking our time with the G.55. I'm not pushing it too fast. I am still working on my Fury, so there's a lot of work to be done on the bench. I am enjoying this build a lot more than the Fury, to be honest. The Fury is a beautiful airplane, but man, that kit is just fighting me at every turn. So I think the G.55 is a nice little break from that. So until our next episode, thank you so much for joining me. This has been a lot of fun here. I'm really glad to be a part of the VJVE group build being hosted by HobbyLink International, and we'll see you back here for episode number 5 next week. Until then, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on the next one.